Star Trek Lower Decks Review, Season 2, Episode 5.
Okay.
So, Boimler's gonna have to grow a beard.
Yeah.
No, Captain's like, nope, those are the rules. You're her number one.
I love how she is such a mom at that point. She has such the well, my mom wouldn't do that, but like the stereotypic TV mom would do that. Like, no, she said it. You like no.
Like, no, I want to do over.
Which, couple things about that whole business with that bar is, okay, so Kirk and Spock, right, whether she's telling the truth or not, like there's nobody else carved there. That bar has been there that long, and it only has Kirk and Spock chipped into it until they get there.
Maybe they have other names chipped in elsewhere, but they're not as important. So
Yeah. And the other thing was, like, at this point, like, the captain is just doesn't even care. Okay, what shenanigans did you get into, Mariner, with Boimler, that you're here now? You're not supposed to be on the starbase. You're supposed to be on the Cerritos. Like, she just doesn't even bother. Just like, whatever.
okay. She has she knows Mariner well enough to. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Probable deniability.
Yeah, plausible deniability, yeah. Well, and at that point, I guess you could say, like, the fact that she beamed down to the party means they got the duper, like, problem under control, so they could all come down. And so figured, okay, she must have just come down recently.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, doesn't matter that she was there earlier, just that she, oh no, she's there. Because Rutherford and Tendi were there too, so.
Yeah, and maybe they skipped the party because, they got there first and got kicked out of the party because you're a lower decker and blah. But those Dooplers.
Okay, so business proposition, okay? Sell a bunch of tribbles to a bunch of Dooplers.
No.
Think about it. They'll always have a pet no matter how many times they duplicate.
First of all, you know how humans have overpopulated the planet?
Which begs the question, what did they, is it not known how you de-dupe a Doopler?
It might be, since he's a delegate, it might be that other cultures don't know. It is not common knowledge. It's kind of like, Klingon mating rituals. For the most part, it wasn't well documented.
Well, it seems like, yeah. Well, not that it. Here's what I'm like. Okay, so dupers have this, problem that they have to be super, like, walk on eggshells around them because they might duplicate. Fine. But if you know how to deduplicate, you don't have to walk around eggshells. You just, when you do duplicate, you just like, okay, you know what to do, piss me off. All right, back together. All right, we're back where we were.
Maybe they don't all react the same way.
It's
Maybe not all,
possible, but
maybe
like
not
the
all.
duping is also a thing that's species wide, so I would
Yeah,
assume.
but I mean, at the same time, people have different reactions to different emotions. Some people love fear. They go out of their way to get it. They are addicted to it. And other people are cower from fear. They can't even go into a dark room because they're afraid.
Poopy.
So, I mean, people's reactions to emotions are different. Some people love anger. They're like, come on, piss me off. I dare you.
Well,
And other
that's
people are like, I am Zen. I will not punch you. I want to punch you. I will not punch you. So it
well. I
could,
mean, even then, you would know that there is a way, there's a pathway to deduplicating, and every Doopler would know what their pathway is. Otherwise, there would be like 60 of them.
well, well, yes.
And
And
so they would
you,
say, they would, oh no, if I start duping, do this, and then I'll dedupe, and then
but my,
you're right back where you're at. Like, then everything kind of resets, and you don't have to be so walking on eggshells around them. It's an
but I'm
annoyance,
saying
but it doesn't
maybe
really cause a
he didn't
problem.
know what his was.
Well, sure, as sort of neurotic as he was, like he knew what triggered his duping, and he probably knew, because if he was that, he probably has done that before, and so is there just like a 500 of him on the planet?
There
Like a,
very well could be. He could be
but at
the
that point, like,
Nosferatu of the Dooplers, for all we know.
well, at that point, you just, I would imagine they would have a dedicated agency. Like if somebody's duping, like, oh, there's like 500 of that guy. Okay, well, let's de-dupe him. Okay, so they just take a bunch of them and go,
Dude,
okay,
dude,
figure
what
out what
if
they are, and then break them back down.
what if the Dooplers are actually some sort of accident and they're kind of like sentient tribbles and they were created that way as a food source?
No.
And they're actually prey animals,
I
which
mean,
would explain why anger is a trigger to get them to dedupe because, you know, a- anger in a prey animal is not very common. It's usually fear and, embarrassment and stuff like that, which are negative. The weak,
it's an aggressive emotion. It's an aggressive feeling, and if you're
instead of
feeling
a,
an aggressive feeling, that means you're in a place where you are no longer need to be duping. So
ex-
it's better evolutionarily if you dedupe
exactly.
to save food and resources.
So perhaps their species is a prey species that the Federation has, they never needed to dedupe because they keep getting eaten or something.
You'd
And
still, you
this is the
think, like, well, I
first,
mean, once assuming they climb to the top of the technological, you know, heap and become basically masters of their own planet, like they would be much less likely to be, once they have civilization, they're much less likely to be preyed upon. And then you just have 500 of Joe over there, and it's like, okay, Joe, there's too many of
or
you.
some other way it's a dangerous planet.
But yeah, I think, yeah, it just it's you'd have to explain that away. It doesn't make a lot of sense why they wouldn't know that or something similar would dedupe them, and then you wouldn't have to walk on eggshells quite so much. You still want to, because you don't want to deal with having to dedupe them, but it's more an inconvenience than the problem that it was.
Yeah.
True.
Although I do like how the captain just like, oh, would you shut up?
Oh,
Just like enough.
dare you?
I,
Do you know who my father is?
No, and I don't care. Shut up.
uh, it's,
Well, but bitching at you worked. If only it worked on Mariner.
oh, and yeah, and then we also
Oh my gosh, data bubble bath.
yeah, and Starbase was at 125. They got a Quarks. It
Yeah,
used to be just an empty lot where teenagers made mistakes. Now they got
I'm sure she made a lot of mistakes there.
and then which is funny because I like the running gag is that basically, you know, uh, Quark has basically cornered the market on basically everything at this point.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, like the quirk the model set.
yeah, it's very Spaceballs.
It is.
Merchandising,
Like
merchandising,
merchandising.
merchandising.
I
Uh,
actually one time saw somebody wearing Spaceballs, the face mask. And I'm like, I want it.
Give it now.
Shut up and take my money.
that it's a very Mel Brooks thing.
It is.
It's like,
You know, I could totally see Mel Brooks dressed as a Ferengi.
uh,
That wouldn't be too racist, would it?
Ferengi are dodgy, a little bit dodgy, but from some people's perspective, it's a little dodgy. But at any rate, and it's funny. It's odd that they made a lot of backgrounds for this episode. It's like
Yeah.
the whole chase scene is just barbershop.
Okay,
This.
okay.
This.
Did anybody else think of that bird person from Birdman guy from Rick and Morty?
I did a little
The
bit.
aviator.
I haven't seen Rick and Morty, so I don't know.
Okay, Madrock, did you think the bird guy from Rick and Morty?
Yeah, a little bit.
The couple in the birdhouse
Yes.
that gets knocked over.
Yeah.
Go to the park. It'll be peaceful. This thing. It'll be
Easier,
fine.
you said.
If
It'd
you're,
be
yeah.
quiet and peaceful.
Yes. And my favorite part is like, oh, this is how I die, and still alive.
Well, hey, at least now that lake is a real bird bath.
True.
It's even got the bubbles.
Are they all data or some of those lore? A couple might be lore.
Yes.
How do you-
I love how they like actually befriended each other over. Oh my god, she does that to me all the time. I do not. You abandoned me like last week. Okay. First of all, you abandoned me and I just left you behind. Okay, a little. I abandoned you a little. It's hardly.
He was abandoned on SETI Alpha 4, which SETI Alpha 5 is the one they abandoned Khan on, wasn't it?
I do not remember.
I'd have
It
to
has been
look.
so long since I've seen the movies.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. Yeah, SETI Alpha 5. Yeah. The rugged
knew-
Class M world where Kirk leaves Khan.
I knew it sounded familiar. I just wasn't sure why.
Yeah, that's what I if you abandon somebody on something, I would that was my first guess, was it would be relevant that they left him on, they abandoned him on there, like that she
Yeah,
abandoned him on there. It's like,
I, I knew Study Alpha um 5 sounded familiar. I just wasn't sure why, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And of course we got the, like the there's all sorts of, like, in the, I didn't take a time to look at the background too thoroughly. I just sort of passed it by, but like there's a model of the Phoenix and a bunch of stuff in that bar. There's lots of history at this bar. It's like other history,
Mhm.
and it's like, oh, there's a model of the Phoenix. There's, other stuff. I imagine if you looked carefully, like a lot of since they panned out and held, I imagine you started picking it apart, you could probably
Yeah,
find a bunch
so
of little
how
things.
old is this station?
Well, they said the space station was pretty old, so
But I mean,
yeah.
how long have they've been holding that captain's council for their, if they
If Kirk and Spock,
if Spock were there, like it would have to be since the founding of the Federation or something.
well, at least probably a generation before. I would imagine it would have been a while, but because if they knew enough to sneak into it, it had been going on for a little while. It
Exactly.
could have been the first year, but
I doubt it.
yeah, like there's a
It
decent
has
chance it
been
was
a
sometime
few.
before then that Kirk and Spock, knew to sneak into there. So one thing I do want out of this series is when they do finally decide to finish it, like whatever there is the end of it, they've got to do an epilogue episode where Mariner is a captain and Boimler is her first officer, and he has a beard.
I don't know. Boimler with a beard. No. A mirror verse.
A goatee. He wants you just,
Yeah.
or
No, Mariner and Boimler go to the mirror universe, and
oh no, yeah, they do go to the mirror universe, and in the mirror universe, Mariner, who her sort of attitude has actually done really well for her, and so she's actually become a captain because
yeah,
mirror universe don't care. It's like, do what you want so long as you do what we tell you. It's like, as long as you get the mission done, we don't really care. And it's like, and then she just has Boimler on there just because he's useful to have around as a punching bag, and he's actually there.
no, because
Eh,
their identities are pretty much switched. Boimler's the captain and Mariner is the first officer. Because Mir Boimler is this badass who don't care about the rules, and Mariner is this
we better
snivelly
do what the
little,
Emperor tells us,
yeah.
Boimler.
The Emperor told us this. This is how we're supposed to follow the Terran Empire. It's like, oh, shut up, Mariner.
Oh,
And
side tangent, a little a tangent, uh, shock, a tangent in one of our reviews.
oh my gosh.
But this week, Star Trek Online had their anniversary event, and they added a new episode. Their missions are all named episodes, because and the episode, you get, well, spoilers if you play that game and you haven't done it yet. Like, what are you doing? You're watching this and you haven't gotten through that. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm never probably going to play it because I do
yeah,
not have that at my home, and I do not even
yeah.
use my
I'm just
computer.
talking to anybody, the 2 or 3 people who watch this.
Yeah.
But so you meet, they actually got Mulgrew in game. She's in game. She's you meet her first, uh, and then you play your mirror counterpart. They kind of dump your skills, and you get the skills of your mirror counterpart, who has a little voice box because of something to do. Anyway, um, and so your character for the actually first time actually speaks, but it's through a voice box, so they can get away with it sounding like whatever they want. And uh, so you so in during the mission, you part of the mission you play as your mirror counterpart, but you also fight alongside Mirror Janeway.
Nice.
There's Mirror Janeway, Mirror Killy, oh, Tilly. She's called Killy, I think, in this one, but that's a Discovery character, and Mirror Lita.
Is Tilly the
She's the bubbly. I think I don't know her. I haven't watched
she like the
Discovery.
I only watched like not even half a season, the first season, because I had trouble sitting through it, honestly.
I think
Um,
she's the bubbly engineer.
the blonde one.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I don't think she was an engineer, because I'm was she the engineer? Because I know the chief engineer was the gay guy. The was
Wasn't he
the
the mycologist or something? I don't. Anyway, I think she does things anyway.
I,
But we get her as as part of the mission as well. And so, but Mirror Janeway uh, is because what the idea of the mission is you are playing as your mirror counterpart, and you're on a mission with Mirror Janeway, Mirror Tilly, and you're going to Jupiter Station. You're jumping in the universes, and you're going to Jupiter Station to uh, pick somebody to abduct somebody for reasons. Anyway, so the Emperor has charged you with doing that, and so you're on Jupiter Station, and so at the end of it, like when you've collected the person already, and you're just about ready to beam out and get out of there because you've done the job you were supposed to do in the Jupiter Station, and then all you, Tilly, and might have been another character. I think there was another character. Anyway, oh, it's a game only character.
mm,
But you all turn on Mirror Janeway. Well, turns out, well, this whole time while you're raiding Jupiter Station and knocking out all these people, well, killing them, your Terrans, but while she's been going along, Mirror Janeway has been assimilating all these Jupiter Station personnel, and they all have like I don't know I don't know if they were teleporting in or cloaked or what, but like she has Mirror Janeway has implants, has like 7 of 9 style implants, and she does something, and all these Borgified Jupiter Station and officers all appear and start attacking you, and she
hmm.
uses them to as a localized network to give herself immunity from your weapons. So you have to take down her network of Borg people to get rid of them so that you can fire on her.
Wow.
It's fun. But yeah, so Mirror Janeway is in the game now, and I think they retroactively put her into. There's a whole arc in the Delta Quadrants. They retroactively put her in there. Just like when they got Garrick's Andrew Robinson, Garrick's character, when they got him for one of the other arcs, like he pops up a lot more often because they just replaced some sort of in-game Cardassians that were sort of we just kind of came up with a Cardassian, and it's like he's there, and then just like nope, that guy is now Garrick. They did that with a few things as they've gotten new characters. I think this is the first captain we've gotten. They did get Leonard Nimoy at the beginning, so there's a lot of Leonard Nimoy reading stuff in the game, but like this is the first straight up captain they got for. So they've gotten like Daniels and a lot of like Quark, and they got Quark and Garrick and
You didn't get Spiner and Franks. Franks loves doing that shit.
I don't know that they haven't gotten Franks or Spiner yet. I don't think they've gotten anybody from TNG yet.
Well, I know that I know that Franks and Spiner and Burton do that mobile.
Oh, we did
Star
get
Trek.
we did get LeVar Burton. I think yeah, we got LeVar Burton. Yeah, we did get LeVar Burton. Yeah,
I know you adverts for that mobile game.
Yeah,
that Star Trek mobile game.
Yeah.
That is apparently pay to play. I never downloaded it. I never intend to. Really do love the adverts for them. They're really entertaining.
Well, we got let's see, from DS9 we got Odo, we got Renee before he died, we got him, we got Nog's in a few episodes, Odo's in a few episodes with his actual voice actor. Let's see, who else did we get? We got Quark, Garrick, Julian. We got some Dorn. We do have some. We do have some Worf, but it's not. I don't think he came back to do anything for their sort of DS9 themed storyline. But we did get Martok. We didn't get. I don't think we got more Worf. We did get more Martok.
Not Martok.
Oh, Martok's awesome. you get to see him a lot.
In the 2012 TMNT, both Janeway and Worf were in it. Well, both Mulgrew and Dorn were in it.
Yeah. And we had, and then there was
both
Gargoyles.
Yeah. Wait, Mulgrew wasn't in Gargoyles.
Well, I know she wasn't, but like just a sheer number of people.
oh yeah.
Yeah, just the sheer number of people in Gargoyles was
in there.
Was crazy.
They had Franks, Certus, Dorn. Like they had a lot of people in there. Most of them TNG.
Yeah, a lot of the TNG cast made an appearance on Gargoyles at some point.
Was Stewart in there?
I don't know. Yeah, he's been doing more voice acting lately with like things like American Dad and that sort of thing and Family Guy, but I don't know how much he did for Gargoyles. I'd have to look it up. But that was just a sidebar about me sort of geeking out about having both normal Admiral Janeway and Mirror Janeway appearing in game now. So that was kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
And we're probably going to get another episode because it was a cliffhanger. So we're going to get another episode that also involves both Janeways. So.
Oh my.
So fun.
But yeah, okay, yeah, that was sort of
tangential.
It was, like I said, it was a tangent, but I was very excited.
It was still Star Trek based, so.
Yeah. The fact that they were all that all of them were involved and everything. It's like there's a lot of people in there. Some of them aren't, you can't get any more.
Yeah.
And they actually, one of the interesting things is on I think basically every major social hub, like the big major ones, like DS9, Earth Space Dock, all that sort of thing. Like there's a station somewhere, like a little memorial thing somewhere where you can where when Star Trek actors pass or producers or anything like that, they put their name, they add them usually in a patch notes. They'll add them add them to the memorial text. And it's a list of actors, and it's really nice and tasteful and well done, and it's just like this is just sort of a thing to sort of celebrate them. It's like and sort of mourn them but celebrate them, and they're just there. Yeah, there's stuff at the Academy, there's stuff at ESD, there's stuff at DS9, and just like there's usually a panel somewhere. It's not always like out in the open, prominent, but it's there. And it's usually out in the open, but it's not in a really prominent place. It's in a nice place, but not.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, it's tastefully done. Which I'm glad they were able to get Odo's actor and Nog's actor before they passed. So
That's
no, and and another funny thing is when they did that, they also updated DS9. They did a whole redo of DS9, and now Quark is in his bar. But well, even when they had the old one, there's a Morn at the end of it, and you can talk to Morn. Like it's all ellipses, but you can talk to Morn. Oh. Anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, Mariner making enemies everywhere she goes. Like, oh yeah, I lived here for a time. It's like,
of
of
course
course
you
you
did.
did. Like,
Usually smells like
I would love to see her record. Like, just what does it look like before the Cerritos? Like, okay, so we know she was at Starbase 125 for a while. She was on that ship that like lost it to lice. Like half the crew were lost to like lice or whatever it was. And like it's like plotting out, like taking every place she said she's lived. Like if you take that for true, like how many play like how long could she have theoretically lived at each of those places, depending on how old she is and how long she's been in Starfleet? Like, how long could she have been in each place, theoretically?
Right?
And the fact that she's seemingly been on the Cerritos a while, because, like, I don't think. I don't. Like, Tindy was the only one who arrived new, wasn't she the only one who, like, I think Tindy was new, but I don't know that I'm trying to remember the first episode, like who was new, like um
I mean, I know they were all new on the ship, but
were they?
I think they were.
I remember Tindy was, but I couldn't. Rutherford, I thought Rutherford was there before. Like the rest of the three were there before, and Tindy was the newbie. Like everybody
I
else was
don't.
sort of there, I think, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I saw the first episode. Um. Anyway, but like, what does her record look like?
it's top secret.
I don't even want to know what her brig logs look like.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, yes.
There are some things that should be left unanswered.
She makes me think of Tom Paris's record, like how much he was in and out of like prison and trouble in general.
Yeah.
Actually, their backgrounds do kind of parallel if you think about it.
Yeah, they
They
have
both have
somebody.
an admiral father,
Yeah.
and the only real difference is that her mother is a captain and was able to keep her out of, keep an eye on her. And if her mom wasn't there, she probably would be in a penal colony at this point.
Yeah, it's in her. It's not quite 1-to-1, but it is kind of a Paris Harry and Harry. It's you know
Uh,
with Boimler
yeah,
and her.
yeah. Boimler is kind of her Harry, although he's not quite as young and naive.
Yeah,
He does have that whole "I'm going to be captain someday. I want to,
I'm gonna do it the
follow
right
all the
way.
rules."
I know the regulations
Yeah.
backwards and forwards, and it's like, yeah. Good luck with that, with Paris or Mariner.
Yeah.
I mean, oh
And
look,
which just makes me laugh so much harder when everybody around them is shipping them. I mean,
Yeah.
even her mom kind of seems to ship them because she's acting like he's her boyfriend and just like, "You're a good influence. I approve of you."
Well, see, yeah, that's the thing. It's like it like from an outside perspective, if you didn't see them, if you didn't see their everyday sort of interactions, if you only saw that, yeah, they do spend a whole lot of time together off duty. They spend an awful lot of time together and they seem to get along. They fight a little bit, but that's not weird for couples. They fight a lot, but that's not out of the question for couples, and they spend all their free
yeah,
time together, seemingly. It's like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they do seem very couple-ish,
Yeah, if
which
you were
is just
yeah, if you were
which
standing on the outside and didn't get to see
considering
much
that,
of them, but like what just like
but I mean,
generic.
just every day, seeing them as a visitor or whatever,
Yeah, or a captain
kind of
where
like
you're not
Josh
seeing
and
them very often.
kind of like how people tend to when they see Josh and Osgood, it's like, your boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend. Stop saying that.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of that thing where, but what makes it really funny is because of how similar they are to Harry and Tom. And I'm just thinking about how poor Balan is just like, "I have a husband and a second husbandish."
Which if you
Which just,
if you
it
gender flipped
also
Harry
reminds,
Kim, like what would that have been like?
yeah, it kind of makes me think of Sean and Gus from Psych.
oh, that's a good
They
show.
they are kind of like Sean and Gus from Psych, where she is totally Sean
And
and
yeah,
he is totally Gus. And then it's just like, when one of them actually do get a romantic partner, which, let's face it, it'll probably be Mariner. It usually is. Like, I mean, legit romantic partner, not
yeah.
a Jet or a what was her name, Barbara,
Yeah.
something like that. Like, not just a one-off. Uh, yeah, that's going to be a very interesting.
Yeah, and it's not really helped by the fact of how she reacts. He's not my boyfriend.
Yeah,
It's like that doesn't really help Mariner. The exasperated "he's not my boyfriend" tells me that like a lot of people think he is, which
yeah,
which says
He-
something about your friendship.
He's more of a pet.
yeah,
And her number
yeah.
one. Which does seem like if
Yeah.
that ship ever sailed, like if she wanted to get real cheesy, like she would make something with "You're my number one" if she wanted to do something really cheesy and sappy because she made him mad or something, and if the ship ever sailed, like it's like "You're my
Yeah.
number one." It's like you got to bring up that, don't you?
Yeah. Although, honestly, I think he would do that, and like
Yeah, as a sort of
they're fighting, and he would make that shirt or something for her to give to him, because that's just the type of person he is. It's like, it needs to be fixed. I know she's not going to ask for forgiveness. I'm just going to pretend she sent this to me, and because she's going to be the one in the wrong, because that's just how she is. She's going to do something stupid, and they're going to fight, and he's going to realize she's not going to, I value this relationship too much for it to be
to
gotten
leave it
rid
up to
of, but at the
Mariner to
same
mess
time, I
up.
can't. Yeah, I know that's just her, and she's just an idiot sometimes, but I need to be able to forgive her. So,
Now I'm just
oh,
thinking of them
Margaret,
in marriage counseling.
oh my God, yes, with the bird, with the bird who makes the food references.
or it gets so bad, the shipping gets so bad by the crew that everybody thinks that they're having lots of little tiffs, little romantic tiffs, and they like tip off the bird uh counselor, and he calls them in. As a couple, you really shouldn't fight so much out in the open. We're not a couple. Denying it is not healthy for your relationship. It's just,
Like,
and
what
just the utter
relationship?
frustration on Mariner is just going to be causing disturbances because you're letting your relationship get too hot. You need to discuss things quietly, in a private area, deal with your relationship issues one on one in a private area so you're not disturbing others. Think about others when you're it's like, we're not in a relationship. Are you sure? And then he just brings up, you spend all your time together. We almost never see you two apart, even when you have separate duties. Like, you're always
Yeah.
assigned to the same area. You're always together. You're always sort of either laughing or fighting. So, it's like, and then the plot of that part of the next plot is them spending a lot of time apart just to sort of try and quash the rumors, and then something happens that makes it very obvious to everybody that they're not in a relationship, and then they eventually, now that everybody knows they're not in a relationship, then they start going, by the end of the episode they're back together doing the things they were doing and being friends. That's basically a Lower Decks episode written for you. Have fun. But I think we've basically wrung this one dry, plus a tangent.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Couple tangents. Many tangents. Lots of derivatives being done here. Anything else to say about Lower Decks?
I got nothing. That was very
Nope.
low. Oh wait. Let us never finish this.
Let us never finish what?
Referencing their starship.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah. It's like, well, then, as long as we're doing this, we can do this all we want and nobody's going to bother us.
Yeah, I like that way of thinking.
I like how she's able to say, hey, I'm going. I'm your +1.
Hmm.
Just like, you know, I'm going to use you because you can totally get in. Just pretend you're the other boy or your evil clone thingy.
You know, I so thought they're setting it up that they're gonna run into each other,
That would have been hilarious.
but I guess not.
Yeah, it was probably they're gonna do a fake out this time, and then next time it comes up, or when you're not expecting it, now that they've sort of said, "Oh, don't worry about it, it's not actually gonna happen," and then bam, the next time next time you're not thinking about it, boom, you see Boimler again. William Boimler.
I mean, William. Yeah, it worked. He's just so excited to be on list.
Anyway.
Or swap places for a day, and the other Boimler has been so, just indoctrinated into the Titan that he's gone full on Riker. And then and Mariner's like, "Oh my god, what happened to you? You became cool." Like, I'm always cool. Oh, and there it is.
Suddenly he's learned how to play the trombone.
Yeah.
Though he did play an instrument, I forgot which one it was. But he did play an instrument at one time. Anyway, but a trombone is just very, that would be very William Boimler.
Yeah.